Massive number of people have been upgrading. Yes,
there you go. You see the graceful limb that you were talking about before.
The race we've got yet again, and a victor then goes victory to an American, Andy Hampton.
The felt it go by. He looks at the Colombian rider. How are you doing?
Straight past Santiago Botero, and he's coming up to Pantani.
Armstrong is sitting in the last few hundred metres as we come towards the finish of this monumental stage. And
as we start to approach the line now, Pantani grits his teeth and accelerates and over the line.
Is going now to win stage number 15. Sepp Kuss, an emotional finish from Durango in the USA. Sepp Kuss wins.
Between Two Wheels podcast. We are up and running for stage one. I'm wearing my King of the Mountains, Love on Two, King of the Mountains jersey shirt in honor. Well, we'll talk about that. This is Tyler Yonke. Bilbao to Bilbao. Crazy. That's a new open. I don't know what you think of that, but we're trying something different for the Tour de France. So maybe that's what it is. What's the stage today? Bilbao, 182 kilometers. I said yesterday, looking at like an Alaphilippe type, Alaphilippe played a part in this. Or I said Mathieu van der Poel, or I said if it came back together and it's just all the GC guys, it's going to be Tadej Pogacar. So I was somewhat close-ish in there. We'll get right into it. But look, I think it was much more, I thought this would be like a Liège-Bastogne-Liège type of stage. And it was, but blown the doors off of anybody but the main guys. So we'll get right into that. Let's take a look here. Let's go to the Bilbao. That's the map there of France. Bilbao is all the way down there at the bottom, and we got a little twisty thing going on here with there's the route. 182 kilometers, a Cat 3 early on, Cat 3, a sprint, a 4, a 2, and that 2 was pretty bad. And then the 3, actually the 2 wasn't all that bad, but the 3 was pretty tough. And it rocked some people. And we'll talk about that with kind of the crowd and how that played a part in it. There was 5 guys that got away right away. Calmajan, this is basically at kilometer 0. And look at that road. It's just lumpy up and down the whole day. But these guys, look, here you go. Calmajan, Guglielmi, from Arkea Sansic, Inkhorn, Griegard, and Ferron. So I think Dutch, French, Swiss, or what did you say yesterday? Denmark and Dutch. It didn't matter. These are all kind of the same body types. They hit a few of the KOMs coming into this. And by the way, people, 7:30 or so on Saturday night, I'm going to PM on the Pacific Coast. I'm going to try to do these kind of in the evenings, maybe around 7:30 every time. Just pop them out. Or I say that, and then I'm like, hey, there's sometimes during the day at work where I think I want to do those. I don't know, but I think if I try to do them kind of in the evening like this, people can join up. Anyway, the guys, the sprints were interesting. I'm trying to remember who got that one. Maybe Mads Pedersen, Peter Sagan's in there. We'll take a look and officially see it. But the early KOMs, it was getting mixed in with these guys. But really, that Cat 2 was going to play the part as to the KOM jersey the whole time. So 36K, they finally bring these guys back. 27K, they start to hit this climb and going up and over the top. Nielsen Palace comes to the front. Our boy, I've interviewed him, I've ridden with him. He's a local guy here. He ends up going over the front, just barely over Zimmerman, I think. And with that, he gets the KOM jersey because they're like, hey, there's no one else up the front. The last climb isn't as much, so he's going to get it, and he didn't have to stay in. And Zimmerman really wanted it, but just couldn't get around him. You saw this with some of the sprinters today, getting pipped off the back on that Cat 2, thinking that they could come back for the Cat 3 near the finish. Biniam Girmay was one of those. You had some of the sprinters take off out of there. I did hear an interview with Luke Durbridge. He was on the cycling podcast, and he said it was a much easier day than normal on the tour. And they're like, well, why? And he's like, because it was more or less on from time one with the sprinters. He said they weren't even trying. They were out the back. Perfect. So he goes, there's 50 guys and some riders that didn't even matter, didn't have to fight. And he says, we weren't fighting for position. It was just kind of like in there. And that's what I talked about. And you only saw a minor display of wreckage today, not a big chaos. And here it is. You can see Carapaz go down, and with him was Enric Mas. Hopefully we won't get struck for some, like the Open there. Enric Mas. Enric Mas did not make it past the, the concussion protocol. I mean, he had a face that looked like he did not know what was going on. Carapaz finally got back on his bike. He had some knee problems. He comes in 15 minutes down, but here's some Enric Mas. Look at those eyes. He doesn't know what's going on. I mean, it's just bad, maybe a shot here, but he didn't really know what was going on. So coming to the last 10K, UAE is pounding the front. Michaelsburg was pushing it up there, but then as soon as it really started to pitch, you saw, who was this one? I'm not sure. Ehrenberg, we'll take a look here, but here we go. Adam Yates, 10.2 to go. He hits the front, and look at the crowd here. This crowd is so packed in, it's basically single file. And if you really run the video and take a look here, you're going to be able to see, I don't know if I'll be able to do it here, but Alaphilippe, here it is right here. Alaphilippe can't hold the wheel, and guys can't get around him. Michael Woods, I heard him say, he goes, I was stuck. I had to basically ride over some people's feet on the crowd to get past. So Alaphilippe, although I picked him, he did play a pivotal part for the race today, which was getting in the effing way of everybody. Now, I don't think that the big guys, because they do end up regrouping at the top, but what you saw here was Adam Yates just putting the power down, and Lefebvre of Cofidis was able to stay with him. At one point, he kind of comes around like he's going to attack. Doesn't really materialize, but then Jonas was right on Pogacar's wheel. It did not move off of there. Yates comes off a little bit, but right behind, you can see Simon Yates of Jayco. He was putting the pressure on, or he was trying to make the gap up here. He ends up hooking up with his brother, Adam Yates, to the KOM. These three being Pogacar, Vinigo, and Lefebvre all came over the top with the KOM together. Just a few seconds behind them, you see Adam Yates, Simon Yates coming together, and then behind them a little bit further, not sure exactly who is. Well, there's Pinot, Skildemouche, and there's another UAE rider in there, but. Then Jai Hindley, and then over the top you get Adam Yates and Simon Yates. Adam Yates takes off, and we'll play a little clip maybe of that. And Adam Yates he gets the nod from Pogacar to go. He goes with his brother. The two of them get like a 5-10 second gap. It's kind of down this hill. And he radios back to the car. Car says, work with him. That's perfectly fine. And then, those two, they're twins, for Pete's sake. And I've always wondered, is there body doping going on? Brothers, when they were on the same team. You get one in the race, and then maybe one steps in and they get a day off, and this other one comes in. But it's hard to do that when you're both in the same race, different teams, and then you're riding together. So it was pretty interesting. What you ended up having was a regrouping from behind of some riders. UAE had a few riders in there, and we'll go over exactly who was all in that group. But then Jumbo had Sepp, Wout. Wout was sitting on. Wout said he had a tough time getting over the top of that climb, but he wasn't doing it. I was like, okay, he's sitting on to try to win, what he was doing, but they needed his power to actually get him up there to win. So he was up. Sepp was doing some pulling. Jonas wasn't, and I'm not sure who it was. Kelderman. We'll take a look at the results to see exactly who was there. But they were not able to bring him back. It's like 7 seconds. You can see this coming down the hill. Weren't able to pull him back. Next thing you know, 3.5K. You've got 15 seconds. These two guys come into the last K, and the last K has a bit of a punch to it. And Simon Yates had been leading up into the last 1K, and then you had Adam just kind of put the power down. And Simon said he had cramps in his leg. He wasn't doing so hot. and Adam goes on to get the win. Looks back, has just a fraction, like 4 second maybe gap, being able to post up. Now, that's Adam's first Grand Tour win. You've had Simon, which has had 2 or 3 Tour de France wins. He's won the Vuelta, so I think he's got a stage in the Giro as well. We can look that up when we go through. So he's had the Grand Tour success. Adam has not to the same extent. Maybe there's a deal there. I don't know. It doesn't matter. These are 2 guys. These are brothers, for Pete's sake. So, and I think they're actually brothers who like each other. Twins, no less. One looks just like the other. And then you had the sprint for kind of the finish here of the lesser ones, 12 seconds back. Wout didn't get in there, and there's a 4 second time bonus, and it goes to Pogacar. Now, Pogacar, there's some. Look at him. He posts up. Does Pogacar know his team is up the road? There's a lot of speculation. I'm texting with Chris and Kurt. They're just like, how embarrassing, this guy. But you look at everything. One, there's so much time when they're coming down the hill where Pogacar is like 2 or 3 back, and you can see those 2 guys up the road. Not to mention that Simon said when they came over the top of the climb and Adam started to go, he had looked over at Pogacar and got a nod that it was okay to go, and he went. Okay. Then Adam says, I'm on the radio. The car's telling me I can work with Simon. So pretty sure. And then Pogacar afterwards is like, look, I was more than happy than if I had won myself. I don't know if that's true, but nevertheless, he said that. So he's at least saying after the fact that he had a sense that his teammate was up the road. I think that's exactly what it was. Okay. I don't think there's anything, you'd be happy. And I say that for a few reasons. One, he's not Jesper Philipsen, who did that last year when Wout, like stage 5 or so, when Wout soloed off the front. He had no clue, and he posted up, a lot of chest banging. It's not that kind of post up. Second of all, Pogacar is a very pretty astute. We're not seeing him make as Chris Horner would say, we're not seeing him make knucklehead mistakes racing. So he's astute enough to know who is up the road and when it is up the road, and you haven't really seen him make these problems. So I just don't doubt that that's a problem. Coming in a little bit behind the Israel cycling or Israel team, Bahrain. Anyway, there's Adam getting to be able to post up, getting the glory for the day, and the teammate post up, which is a little odd, but there you go. So Yates and Yates for UAD, United Arab Emirates gets the win for Adam Yates. Simon Yates' brother, 4 seconds back. There's a time difference there, bonus seconds, but he comes in. And then Pogacar for UAE, 12 seconds back over Pinot. Hey, Pinot, well done. Look, he did the Giro. We talked about that. Now he's here doing the Tour. It's the back-to-back, and he's looking somewhat spry. So is Mike Woods. Lefay, maybe the surprise ride of the day. Jai Hindley, Skildemouche, Vengago, and David Gaudu. So 2 for Groupama FDJ up there. Skildemouche makes it up there. Ciccone doesn't. And we'll walk through who did and who did not make it up there for which teams. So Adam Yates, he gets the yellow jersey. He also gets a combative jersey. And then the only one that didn't get a jersey that wasn't Adam Yates was our buddy Nilsson Palace. So he won that with the polka dot. So well, at least Pogacar's got the white jersey, which makes complete sense. Victor, yes, live streaming tonight. We're going to try to do it at the same time. It's I don't know where you're located, but for me, 7:30 Pacific. I'm going to try to just get it around that time in the evenings when I can. If I don't do it at a different time, which may happen as well. I can't always predict that. Hope you enjoyed the tour there today, though. Okay, so tomorrow, they said it's I'm trying to remember the name of the climb. Jazkabel. They pronounce it a little bit different. And they use that. I think it's in San Sebastian. I think this. Some of the commentators said they're going up the other side, but it's a Cat 2. It's a little bit longer, so you're going to see. I don't think you're going to see like the sprinters be able to make it, although it's like 20K or so, I think, from the top of the climb to the finish. So they have a little bit more time to regroup and get there. But I just think, especially after the way we saw it today, and you've got just the GC is primed and ready to go now, and they're taking it on. So there you go. There you go. That's the Cat 2 climb. This doesn't show how many kilometers from the finish it is. Maybe we'll take a look at that and on them a little more detail. Okay. So here's the results page from today, and I thought we'll walk through, kind of go team by team, just kind of see who missed out, who didn't. First of all, we saw that one in that 12-second group: Woods, Lefay, Jai Hindley, Schildemus, Vingegaard, David Godot, Wout was up there, Mikel Landa, Carlos Rodriguez for Ineos, so he made the group. Wilco Kelderman, he was the other one. And then you did have, and look, you see Sepp Kuss, he comes in the next 33 second, but he was doing work and he just sat up. Pidcock, he didn't make the front. Alaphilippe, okay, so he caused problems, but he at least, Bardet, okay, let's walk through. And let's just do the KOM. There you go. Nilson Palace, KOM jersey. Okay. Teams, AG2R, how did Ben O'Connor do? He lost 33 seconds. Notify me, please. Thanks. Okay, I'll try. So Ben O'Connor, Felix Gall, and Clement Berthu, they all were in that top 33 seconds. There you go. Alpecin, Van der Poel, he lost that 33. I really thought he would be a little closer, but that's not so bad for where, kind of where he is. Who is this one? Astana, they lost, Lutsenko lost 9:42. That's a devastating one for them. Mikel Landa did make that front group. Jack Haig was right behind. Jai Hindley made the front group as well. For Bora, Cofidis, they had Lefay, and then they had Guillaume Martin in the 33. That's about right. Martin usually isn't in the top form, but just close by. Easy Post, Nilson Palace, minute 32. He got the KOM and then just kind of wrote it in, so he didn't worry too much about that. But as we said, Richard Carapaz lost 15:24, and we'll talk a little bit about maybe the chances. Well, I'll do it right now. So Carapaz, Enric Mas, Carapaz actually made it to the finish, lost 15, but he ended up retiring. He's done. He's not going to continue on, so we lost Carapaz and Enric Mas. Ecuadorian Carapaz, he was going to be the team leader for for Easy Post. Remember, he's won the Giro before. He's ridden well in the Tour. Stage-wise, he is out, and that the team had been going for that. Now, what's going to be their follow-up? Iran loses 5. They don't have a follow-up. Iran loses 5 minutes. Chavez loses 4:59. Bettiol, is it going to be Nilson Palace? Is Palace going to be the one that's going to go for somewhat GC? And if so, then he probably messed up today by going for the KOM, blowing his wad, kind of at the sprint there, and then sitting up for the final climb and not really going deep, because he can do that. He can. We've seen him on some of the hilly classics like LBL where he can actually do fine. So that was a bit of a problem there. Stage hunting, I think you're right, Brian. I think he's going to be doing the stage hunting. The other one was Jorgensen. He sat up and we'll go through his team here in a second. He sat up when Enric Mas went down, and then they told him, hey, ride on, because he's quitting. He had the starry eyes and couldn't really focus. And there's another rider that has missed out on possibly a GC ride due to that. Now, you can make up some time, and you can do it. Like we said, there's only one time trial, so there you go. Stage hunting is what it is, but some of these riders, it's also important for them to try to nail a top 10 if they can, and that's a focus every day to see if in their future they can actually get going in this. Are they desperate for World Tour points this year? No talks for polka dots. No points for polka dots. No points for polka dots. You get more of the money for that. So yeah, there wins, and we'll kind of maybe go through some of that as far as possibility of wins. Oops, that's Ineos. Let's do, what am I doing this year? Groupama, that's one I wanted. They had Pinot, they had 3 guys up there in that top 33 second group. Pinot, Godot, and then Valentin Madouas was at the 33. You had the other 2 in the top there. Ineos, how'd they fare? UAE lost Bernal. He didn't quite make that front group. And some of this has possibly to do with that nasty crowd and when Alaphilippe couldn't hold wheels and made a mess of it by why were you up there if you're not going to be able to hold wheels? Well, I hate that. Don't you hate that? You're like, I'm actually can do fine, and then this guy can't hold wheels, and you can't even get around him. Pidcock also on that second tier right there. Oops, there we go. Israel, I forgot, Interwanti Marche, Louis Menches was 33. Mike Woods, he made that front group. Corbin Strong, Dylan Toons, all up in that 33. Hugo and everyone else is fine. So Woods is still in the mix. He didn't go for the KOM stuff today. Vingegaard in that front group. Here we go. Wout, he made that front group. Kelderman made that front group. Sepp was in the 33-second group, but he had been up there chasing all the way down the hill, so he just sat up. Solid ride. Christophe Laporte. That's the interesting one there because we've seen him go really deep before. He might be that guy that they're rotating out to. You're sitting up in the day one, and then another guy sit it up on this day and kind of, save your time. Ineos used to be real big into that. Lil Trek, Skillmos made that front. Ciccone, a little disappointed. You'd think that he might, especially if he wants to fight for this. I know it's only a few seconds there. But look at that. Quinn Simmons, 13 minutes. Doing it. He was on the front a bit today. Lotto, no one. 33. They did have Van Gils up there. Movie star. Here we go. So Jorgensen loses 2:38. Alex Armbrew gets the 33-second group. Enric Mas with the DNF. And so that throws them into a mix, kind of like where EF is. What are you going to do? I mean, Enric Mas was second in the Vuelta last year. So obviously he can ride a good race. Alaphilippe, he made the 33-second group. But like I said, I point to him as causing a lot of problems. Plus, he's the team he's on. 2 minutes down for Arkea. They didn't really make it. Romain Bardet, here we go. 33-second. He made that group. Not impressive. He should have been able to get up there. Once again, I don't know how bad the single file problems were. I guess people were over the barriers. Jayco, you know how that happens with Yates. You had Chris Harper up in the front as well. Lawson Craddock losing 13 minutes. Total energies. Doesn't matter. Peter Sagan losing 15. UAE with 1, 3. Rafael Micah in that 33-second group. Großschartner, he was also the one that hit the bottom of the climb. And then Uno X 33. They did have their one guy up there. So perfect. Let's go with. I think I wanted to. Do we have? Yeah. Let's look at this one article here. I don't know if this is, it's even, which one do we want to do? There we go. Okay, Brian chimes in. I think Jumbo could have pulled back Yates squared with 4 riders rotating. Maybe they want UAE to burn riders defending the jersey. Look, part of the problem that I saw with that today was Wout was sitting on the back. Okay, so Wout's sitting on the back. He's not rotating through, and obviously Jonas isn't going to do any work. So possibly. So they had Kelderman and was it just how many of them there were? We just went through this. Sepp and Kelderman, and who else was there up there? Wout. So it was just Sepp and Kelderman doing the work. So just 2 of them. And then there is a problem with Wout not sprinting for the finish and allowing Pogačar to take some time. I mean, he's probably the only guy in that group that could have outkicked him, and he didn't even really try. So that is a bit of a problem. But yeah, try to make them burn their riders. I mean, you got Adam Yates up there burning a bit, so possibly. Victor says, do you see any expectation for mass sprints at finish lines? I think we saw, not for this stage. We'll go through the stages coming up. I think it's stage 4 or 5. It looks like it could possibly be a sprint. And look, if we don't have a lot of sprint stages, and you will get them, by the way, you're hitting the Pyrenees early, and then we're going up north. And we're going to go through Bordeaux country, and that is going to be some sprints. It's just going to happen. It's maybe some crosswinds, some other things like that, but you're going to be seeing sprints, and of course, you're going to see it at the final stage there in Paris. So, of course. Okay, the question on the minds of the readers here is, could we see an American take a Tour de France stage win this year? Well, we got Quinn Simmons. He just won the U.S. National Championships. He's got the jersey on. Nelson Paulus. I'm going to walk through these. Sepp Kuss, Lawson Craddock, Matteo Jorgensen, Kevin Vermaak. Oh, Kevin. That was not from today. Kevin Vermaak, and that's it. So, Kevin, possibly. But look, here's the problem. He's going to be helping Romain Bardet, so he's going to be limited, okay? Jorgensen was going to be limited due to Enric Mas. That is out now. He can stage hunt. There's a better possibility for him, and if he's riding well, which we've seen him do before, he's got a great chance. Lawson Craddock, he might happen to be helping Yates. So depending on where they're at, and Lawson remember a few years ago, he did really well at LBL, Liège-Bastogne. Liège, he's still a decent rider, but he just doesn't climb. I think he won a stage or 2 in I want to say the Vuelta. I could be wrong. But it's been a few years since we've seen an American win anything at the Tour. If he's riding well, he could have some chance. Look, the best rider of them all is Sepp Kuss, but he is going to be a lot of work to be done on his shoulders. We just played in my new Open, him winning in Andorra in his hometown, 2 years ago. That's not going to be the case to really let him off the leash. And even then, I think it's a bit sketchy to allow him to be going up and getting much of a leash. You're probably one of your best chances are these other two here, which are two of the better riders as well, which is, Matteo is good, but Nilsson Palace, very aggressive. He's been super close the last several years in the Tour. He just got his KOM. And with Carapaz out, he is free to fly. So you've got one of the best chances with him. Quinn Simmons, Cicconi's in there, so he's got work to do. He's also Mads Pedersen is in there, so he's got work to do for both of those. But if the opportunity arises, it could definitely be the case. You're gonna have to hit a little less climbing than it is today, but with some hard stuff mixed in. So I think there's some chances. I didn't read this at all. I just thought I would give my input on that, and then we'll go. Let's play one interview, and I don't even know. Maybe we'll get kicked off of the internet for this, or at least YouTube or something. But here we go. Simon Yates talking about today. Or Adam Yates.
Bit tricky getting into the climb there. It was just me and Harper who were trying to position ourselves. It wasn't easy against teams who have the numbers, Jumbo and those guys, they have 4 or 5 guys, so it's a bit difficult to position ourselves, but we did a good job. And then I was caught a little bit behind when they made the first, when UAE made the first initial sort of push, and I couldn't get around because the crowds are so big. But that's how it goes. So sort of grovel my way across just at the last. Managed to make a junction at the top with those fast boys, and then there was a bit of a cat and mouse over the top, and Adam came back. He sort of rolled to the front and gave Pogacar the nod, as in like, "Oh, can I go? What's the situation?" "Yeah, sure, okay." So he's gone, and I've gone across to him, and that's all she wrote, really.
Was there any conversations between you and your brother, or was it completely nastily unspoken? There was an agreement to ride to the final.
No, I mean, at first when he saw it was me coming across, I think he was put in a difficult situation maybe because, he asked on the radio straight away, like, "Oh, what do I do? Can I roll through?" And at first he wasn't pulling, but I kind of knew that anyway. I knew it was going to be tricky, but at the same time, I had to take an opportunity where, normally in a finish like that, I would not beat Pogacar or Vingegaard or these guys in a real fast sprint. So to get away with Adam, maybe there's a chance. Pretty close normally, but I had some cramps in the final, but just a bit really humid day. So unfortunately, he got the better of me, but I'm sure there's more chances coming up.
It'll be interesting to see if we get struck on that one. Playing that. That's a GC. That might be a GC. Even though it wasn't from GCN, that was Matt Stevens who was working for them doing the stuff. So there's a good chance that when this show comes down. Okay, let's look at profiles here. Coming up, I was looking ahead there, Victor. So this is tomorrow. The Cat 2 is pretty good. It's 3.7 kilometers at 7.1%. That's the Jezebel, and it says 8.1, and then it's got a step in it, 8.1 kilometers at 5.2. So it's a solid climb, and I just don't think you're not going to see. You shouldn't see. If you see a sprinter over the top of this one, good for you. But that's at 180 something to go. And then they're 208. So, 20 some kilometers, or it says 193 to the top. So 17 kilometers in to the finish, somewhere 16, 15, somewhere in there. I just don't see it's enough time for a sprinter to get there. So no there. Stage 3 starts out with a Cat 3 and then a 4, and then you got 3 and 3. But even though with 100K and you still got 90K to go, that'll be a chase, but with some bumps in there. I don't know if you might have a sprinter. I see this more of the mid sprinter type of day. Mads Pedersen, I've said that. Wout Bennett, or you've got your guys that are the breakaway. That could be a possibility there. Stage 4, though, is the sprint one. At least the first time we'll see there's Cat 4 coming to the finish, and some teams may try to put some pressure, but I could see that that's going to be an Astana day. Look, Lutsenko backed out today, so you've really got a chance for them to go all in for Cavendish. And the reason you do is, look, he gets one win, he then breaks the record. That's a huge deal for him, obviously, but it's a big deal for your team. He's going to be all over everywhere. You're going to have your jersey everywhere, so you might as well go in full deep on this one and see what you can do before we hit the climbs, because then immediately stage 5. Once again, we talked about this yesterday. Stage 5, stage 6. Yeah, it's climbing. We could go up a little bit. This is Bordeaux. This should be another flat stage. So stage 7 for sprints. Stage 8 should be one as well. I mean, there's some lump stuff in here, and then 9 before we have the rest day. Puy de Dôme. That's, you got to climb there. So two or three ones for the sprinters. Okay, that is it. So tomorrow, watch the race. Where did you guys watch the race today? I did a thing where the Peacock has a US feed, unwatchable, and because it's got commercials and it's just they have Christian Vandevelde on the motorbike though, and he actually does a decent job. Sam Bruley and Brewmeister, and then Brooke Brookwalter, those are in the studio, and then you have Bob Roll and Phil Liggett doing the commentary. It was just rough. So then Peacock also has a world feed, and I'm trying to remember the guy's name, Ant McCrossan, that's what it is, Anthony McCrossan, and then you've got good question, Brian. I'll get that in a second. Nick Roach, the commentators they're doing fine. I just pull up GCN. I'm actually listening to that and watching that other one. And then we have Victor says, thanks for live streaming, Tyler Yonke. Appreciate it. No problem. Your pick for tomorrow. Whew. This is tough. From a breakaway, you may see someone maybe like, I'm not going to go with Alaphilippe, but I mean that kind of you're going to have someone that can get up and over on the climbs. I don't know. I hate the picking stuff. But if it comes to a group finish here, I'm looking for Wout to finally pull that out, or maybe Matthew Vanderpool. Who do you guys think is going to do that win? Maybe we should take a look at that one more time here. I'll have to start thinking about who I want to Simon Clark. I don't know, something like that. I mean, you've got to get up and over that climb. And so maybe you'll see a Nelson Paulus start to jump in the mix here to get up the road to kind of protect his polka dot jersey. That might be the case. And if that is so, you can see him off the front and actually getting up the road to collect the KOM and to try to get the win itself. But someone's going to have to get up and over that climb, and then it's downhill and a little bit of, I don't know. I hope you guys, I'll have to think about this. I have to start thinking about who I'd actually pick for this Magnus Court. Okay. Yeah. Previously I've seen him climb like that, getting up and over, and there's decent enough time to catch up on the backside there. Could very well be, I could see, Mads Pedersen as well. Some of these guys have to be really motivated. And I think what you saw today is they said, today is not even going to be close, so I'm not even going to try. I'm going to rest up, and then we'll see about tomorrow. Christophe Laporte might be another one as well. Who knows? All right, everybody. That's a show we have for today. I'm excited about the tour, though. Tour's coming to town. Tour's here. Tour is doing everything we wanted it to do. There we go. And if you missed it, I have a new open. So check out the show from the very, very beginning, and you'll see that. There's got to be someone else we're missing here. Someone else. Some team. Pinot. What about Pinot? What's he going to do for this tour? Is he going to actually make it further along? I mean, I don't know. This is farewell, and he rode really well today. So I was pretty impressed about that. All right, everybody. Take care. Till tomorrow.